Shalom, people. All praises to the Most High. Long live Christ the King also. I don't know how long I have, so with the short time I have, I want to discuss what some people overlook or might have overlooked in Exodus, dealing with understanding the Mosaic covenant. Once again, y'all know that I say that we're in the new covenant, and from the understanding that I have, all things have been fulfilled in the Bible. But it's good to look at the Mosaic covenant also to understand where we came from, how we got into the new covenant, as well as understand some of this Hebraic literature. So let's see if we can take it from the beginning. Start at Exodus 19. In the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they unto the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. So now, Moses is to deliver the children of Israel and a speech from the Most High. So let's see what he says. Verse 4, Ye have seen what I did to the Egyptians. So first of all, he's just reminding them how this power, how he was the one true God, and how he destroyed the Egyptians. So now, you have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. So, throughout Scripture, we see a lot of things dealing with wings, especially eagle wings. So, did he really put them on eagle's wings? No. This is just a analogy for the swiftness. So, once you see in Revelation when the lady had eagle's wings and ran into the wilderness, it's just saying how swift the action occurred. Just like in Daniel 7, when you see some of the beasts have wings. The wings represents the swiftness. That's all. It represents swiftness. So now, ye have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. So, this is one thing that we forget to realize. For them to be, it's conditional. For them to be a peculiar treasure, they would have to obey the voice and keep the covenant. Okay? In order for Israel to remain that peculiar people, that peculiar treasure, they had to obey the voice and keep the covenant. So, if they was not obeying the voice or not keeping the covenant, then they would not have been considered the peculiar people, the people of the Most High. See, this is what Paul was touching upon when the difference with the Jews. This is what he was touching upon. She got me alive. DowntownBeats.com.
Right,
Alright, y'all, so sorry about that. So now, back to what I was reading. Verse 5 let it be known that there's no need for Israel today, or even Israel back then, to be all puffed up with being the peculiar people, this, and that. Because the only way you kept that status, the only way, is if you obey the covenant and the Most High's voice. So, if you haven't did a sacrifice in 2,000 years, you are not keeping the covenant. Therefore, you are not considered the peculiar people under the Mosaic covenant. Let me read it again. Now, therefore, listen to what he say. If ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people. For the earth is mine. So, what's the Most High? The whole entire earth. So, the Most High controls everything on this planet. So he can pick and choose who he wants to be his people. Okay? But the only way that Israel was going to be his people was if they did these things, which they did not do, and we still can't do them today. So that's why. But that's why we needed a mediator. But let's keep going. Verse 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. So, until the Most High, Israel in the beginning was determined and destined to be a kingdom of priests. That means everybody that's within that facility, what I'm looking for, vicinity, whatever. But anybody that's in that realm, everybody that's a part of that family was supposed to be a kingdom of priests. So, if you have 1 million Israelites, you should have 1 million priests. If you had 5 million Israelites, you should have 5 million priests, because they were supposed to be a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. So Moses took that information to the elders, and it was up to the elders to relay the message. Verse 8, and all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord had spoken, we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. So, the people agreed. So once you make an agreement to the Most High, you can't break your agreement. There's dire consequences for that. So the people agreed to be this holy people. They agreed to do the covenant. And Moses went and told the Most High that they agreed to it. Verse 9, and the Lord said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. So now, the Most High understands how mankind is. And you know how we can do, well, Moses is making some of this stuff up. So no, what he said was, check this out, I'm going to show them something. I'm going to allow them to hear me and you conversating. It's crazy that the Most High had to do things like this in order for people to believe. But the proof is in the pudding. So if you can't prove it, see, there's really was no faith based back then. It was all about proof. So he was proving it. And he did it so the people could believe Moses and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes. So now we see the symbolism of them washing their filthy garments. They had to sanctify themselves through the various washings. They had to wash their filthy garments from all of the dirt. Verse 11, and be ready against the third day, for the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. So you have the message, and then on the third day you have the Most High actually doing what he said he was going to do. So, those third days are very, very important. Christ died and he resurrected on the third day. So these all have meanings to it. And thou shalt set the bounds upon the people round about, saying, Take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up unto the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall be surely put to death. See, and surely you better believe the Most High was really meaning what he said. So, that mount was going to be holy. So holy that the people could not even touch it. Verse 13. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. That's how much business the Most High meant when he said don't do something. He keep everything holy. And this would have been righteous judgment, because they would have been going against the Most High. Even the animal who wouldn't even knew better, it had to die, because the Most High words mean what it say. When the trumpet sounded long, they shall come up to the mount. So now we have the trump in heaven, right? And then we see the same thing in the New Testament and in Revelation, which is part of the New Testament. We see the trumpet signifying things. So we have the trumpet right here signifying that they can come up to the mount and see the Most High. Verse 14. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people. And look what Moses did. And sanctified the people. And they washed their clothes. So their filthy garments, they start washing them. This was called being sanctified. We see something similar to this in the New Testament called baptism. But they are washing their clothes, getting rid of the dirt, putting on white garments. That's what it should represent. Verse 15. And he said unto the people, Be ready against the third day. Come not as your wives. Come not as your wives. I think it's supposed to be come not at wives, which means no sexual relations. It means be pure. It means be virgin when you meet me. Come as a virgin when you meet me. So this will be sort of like what the virgins of the 144,000 were. It will be sort of symbolic to them, because they were supposed to be what? Priests. And priests had to be pure. They couldn't be full of I don't want to say bad things about the sexual orientation, but they couldn't be part of the impurity, dealing with the semen and all of the blood and all that, the stuff that deals with sexual relations. They cannot have a part of that when they try to go meet the Most High. They had to be 100% pure. Verse 16. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings, and the thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. So now, verse 16 is very important, because a lot of prophets pull from this language. Once again, let me show you real fast, and then we're going to come right back here. A lot of prophets pull from that from this language. Matthew 24. Let me just show you one. Matthew 24 and 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be dark, and the moon shall not give off her light. The stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heaven shall be shaken. And then you have them mentioned, for lightning come out of the east and shining into the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So, all he's doing is he's pulling from this same language that Moses had, dealing with them being introduced to the Most High. That's how they was going to be introduced to Christ. That's how the judgment from the Most High was introduced to people. That's how judgment was from Christ was introduced to people. This was the literary words behind it. Look, and it came to pass on the third day in the morning, pretty much the same time when Christ rose, but there was thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud, So you got the cloud, you got the thunders and lightnings. The voice of the trumpet exceeding loud. You got the trumpets. You got the loudness. So that all the people in the camp trembled. So it's pretty much similar language. They all pulled from this. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God. So once again, all of that trembling and the thunders and the lightnings and the loud trumpet and the shaking and all that was for them to understand that they was fin to meet the Most High. And they stood up, and they stood at the nether part of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. So now you got the smoke, right? You got the smoke, you got the lightnings, you got the thunder, you got the cloud, you got the loud trumpets. Once again, you got the thunders, the lightnings, the voice, you got the loud trumpet, you got the smoke, you got the fire, you got looking like a smoke of a furnace. So you have all of this language being used throughout all of the prophets when they describe the judgments of the Most High, which is them meeting the Most High, or the Most High coming down, or the Most High coming to them. That's what Christ was talking about when he did his. But look, and Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. You see, the Lord is coming down. The Lord is coming. What represented the Lord? Let me keep reading first. And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. So when the Most High was coming down, right, this would be a coming of the Most High, right? Did they physically see the Most High? No, they didn't physically see the Most High. But how did they explain it? Well, it was smoke of a furnace. The mount quaked greatly. It was thunder. It was lightning. It was a trumpet. All of this stuff was supposed to be occurring when they met the Most High. So that's why let's pull one more, and then I'm gonna have to wrap this up because they gave me my light. Well, let's try to find Joel, right? Joel chapter 2 and verse 30. Let's start at 29. And also upon my servants and upon my handmaids in those days, I will pour out my spirit. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood, before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. What's happening? The Lord is coming down to judge mankind. What happens when the Lord comes down or descends? Fire, smoke, thundering, lightning, trumpets, quaking. So all of this is just symbolic for, first they saw it, they experienced it, and then all of the other prophets pull from the same language to let people know that something similar is happening. When judgment was from the Most High, he had to come down. So they pulled from what the children of Israel experienced, and to make that correlation between this is the Most High's coming down, but they're using it more as a literary aspect or a time marker to explain to people what's going on. But let's keep reading. 19. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down. See, this is the coming of the Lord. The Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perished. So the Most High was saying, hey, go down there and stop the people before they try to come up here and look at me, and they die. And let the, verse 22, and let the priests also, which come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. Now, who was supposed to be the priest? The whole nation of Israel. So this will be the whole nation of Israel. But those priests would have to re-sanctify themselves. And Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. So the people cannot come up here because we did what you told us to do. They was obedient right here. 24, and the Lord said unto him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priest and the people break through to come up unto the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. So the priests were the people that's supposed to be, the whole nation of Israel was supposed to be priests. But the priests was the ones that was getting sanctified, the ones that was washing their garments, doing this, not coming up on women. Had to be nothing but men. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them. And look, he spoke unto them the 10 commandments. So the first thing that the Most High gave the children of Israel was the 10 commandments. It wasn't the sacrificial system just yet. The first thing he gave them to be, for them to be pure, for them to be righteous, for them to be correct, for them to walk in the way that he wants them to walk into. The first thing he gave them was the 10 commandments. The 10 commandments was the first thing that, and if you look at the 10 commandments, you'll see the reason why he gave them the 10 commandments. Those specific commandments. Because all of that stuff in the 10 commandments, they did against Christ. All of it. All of those actions was actions against Christ in the New Testament. So if they would have got it down pat in the Old Testament, when the Messiah came on earth, they would not have transgressed against him or tried to kill him, tried to show hatred toward him, tried to disrupt him dealing with the Sabbath and etc. Because they didn't understand the great rest that he was trying to bring. They did not honor the father or the mother. They did not honor the Father, the Heavenly Father, because they was trying to kill the Son. I mean, pretty much all of it. You just gonna walk through all of it. They was coveting, what's it? Covetous? I guess that's the word. Covetous or whatever. But they was coveting his property. They wanted his inheritance. That's what that parable was about. They wanted to seize the inheritance of the Son. So they was wanting his inheritance. So all of that stuff. They was committing adultery. They was in fornication. They was playing the harlot to the other nations. They still was doing idol worship, idolatry in the New Testament. So all of this stuff was actually against Christ, against the Father, and etc. Hope this all made sense. We just went through Exodus a little bit. We can finish up later on. I'd like to say shalom. Thank y'all for listening.